This is Martin Giles of the Guildford Dragon News, and I'm by the gates of the Stony Castle dump, which has been a controversial issue in local news recently. And I'm with Daniel Hill, who is the son of the owner and who has power of attorney over the site. Daniel, thank you for joining the Guildford Dragon.
No problem.
Can you just give a brief background of how your family got involved with this site?
Yeah, sure. My dad knew about the site, I think back in the 70s or 80s, when a previous owner was having problems with it. We actually lived in the village just down the path from here.
In Pirbright?
In Pirbright. And my dad bought the site in 1998.
Okay, and what happened then?
So my dad kind of continued it as it was before. He had little bits of yards in here. At one point we even had like an off-road remote control car track in here and just lots of little businesses.
So it wasn't a dumper then?
No. When my dad took it over, he cleared it. He stopped actually people dumping here. And he just basically had lots of nice little businesses here.
Okay, and how long did that go on like that?
That went on till about 2009 when my dad, he left the country and went to the Philippines.
And what happened then?
So it all kind of fell apart really. He left the manager to be responsible, but it all had problems. My dad started getting emails from both Guildford Borough Council and Surrey County Council, and they were concerned that some of the residents may be importing waste onto the site.
Okay, and so what did your dad do about that?
So the first thing, obviously being not in the country, he contacted me. I was living in Essex at the time, and he asked me to approach the council and try and work with them and find out who was dumping the rubbish so we could have them removed.
Okay, now there has been some people have said that you may be involved in the dumping of the rubbish on the site, or at least taking some profit from that activity. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, there was a recent a criminal case. I was convicted. The conviction I was of was not taking reasonable steps to prevent occupiers dumping rubbish.
Okay, so there was no accusation that you were actually involved in it during the court case?
No, the judge actually made it quite clear that I was not involved in dumping rubbish. It was merely the fact I knew it was happening and he felt that I should have taken reasonable steps to stop it happening.
Okay, and you haven't been involved, for the record,
No.
You're saying you haven't ever been involved in
That's
any
correct,
dumping.
yes.
Okay, now why didn't you evict the occupants of the site to stop it happening?
So back in 2009, my dad felt that because the situation here of the use of the land had been commercial for many, many years, he felt that he had, I can't remember what the word is now, like an existing use basically.
So what was the next thing that happened?
So the next thing that happened, basically, I would meet with Surrey County Council and we would come down here and they would ask me what was going on. I would explain to them that I had no powers and they would have to wait till my dad returned.
Okay, but you did have power of attorney.
So this was back in 2013. My dad gave me power of attorney in 2018.
Okay. And when you had that power of attorney, couldn't you have arranged the eviction of the occupants then?
No, see, what happened by that point, the people that were occupying became squatters. So their legal protections completely changed. My dad asked me to get a quote. I actually got a quote to have everybody removed, and that was £70,000. I didn't have £70,000 and I couldn't do that.
Okay, and the occupants actually gave evidence against you in the court case.
Yeah, that was the really strange thing. So in 2009, 2013, there were 12 companies here. But when I was served with the papers in 2017, the majority of the good companies left. And there were just 4 people left behind. And those 4 people actually gave evidence against me at trial.
Why do you think they did?
Well, I wasn't quite sure really. Their evidence was really that they all seemed to think they didn't know who was dumping the rubbish, but they were all pretty sure that there were reasonable steps I could have taken to prevent it from happening. But I've asked many times and no one's been able to tell me what these steps are.
Okay, and then coming up to the current period, on July the 12th, the Borough Council took control of the site.
That's correct, yeah.
Did you know they were going to do that?
We had an email, I think it was probably about 3 weeks before that. Basically, no, actually there was an email, I think even a couple of months before that. They were talking about it might be happening. They sent it to my dad. My dad actually thought it was a really good idea because he thought if they were going to remove the occupiers, it would then allow us to get in and try and resolve the situation. So my dad actually fully supported the sort of the direct action proposed by the council. Then we got an email, I think, about 2 or 3 weeks before they took action. And other than that, I don't really know much more what's happened since they were here.
And you tried to get onto the site during the operation. Why did you do that?
So I wanted to know, my dad had asked me what items on the site that were still belonging to us. So he still had containers and some items that belonged to him and belonged to myself. He asked me to approach the council, which I did. I had to do it through my solicitor. A date was arranged for me to come down, but unfortunately when I turned up, the guards working for the council attacked me.
But you were filming secretly against the agreement.
No, I didn't have an agreement. Guildford Borough Council set some rules that they didn't want me to film on the site. They also set a rule that I wasn't allowed to bring anybody to accompany me, including my mum or a solicitor. However, I didn't agree to those rules, but they were told to me, yes.
Okay. But you're saying it wasn't because of your secret filming you were arrested?
No, I mean, I did video what happened. At one point, I was asked to put my phone back in my pocket. I complied with that completely. It was later as I walked in, I tried to give a piece of paper to the police officer, and all the piece of paper said was Section 178 of the Town and Country Planning Act. And I explained that this showed they didn't have the power to stop me coming onto the land. The contractor that was in control of the site at the time didn't like that and basically launched on me and attacked me.
Okay. Now, that's under investigation.
That's correct, that's investigation.
Okay. So what do you want to happen now?
I think the first thing happens is we need to tell the residents, please don't come to this site. I know there's been a lot of support and people have been taking photographs and taking samples, but the advice that we've had that there is a very dangerous site. So I'd like to please ask local residents, don't come to the site.
Okay, now there have been reports that there may be toxic waste on the site. What do you know about that?
All I know is what I've seen online. I've seen photos and videos and comments from Gareth Simpkins. I have asked Guildford Borough Council about that, and they've just told me that no testing has taken place so far.
Okay. And even here by the gate, we can see some of the water appears discoloured and oily. But you're saying no testing has taken place of any of the water around the site?
No, I mean, you can see this is right next to the gate. The water looks this is the start of the stream actually, and it looks very oily, very gunky. But also local residents have told me that there is a field behind the site that they're very concerned about. They all seem to think that I know what's going on with the testing. I have tried to refer everyone back to Guildford Borough Council because, as far as I'm aware, no testing has taken place. But I know the residents are very concerned about this because this flows from here all the way down into the village.
Okay. And are you expecting someone to come and take the waste off the site now?
I think really the step needs to be is for Surrey County Council to prosecute the people that have put the waste here. The advice that I've had is that they have the power under the Town and Country Planning Act, and because they were the people that put the rubbish there, the courts could order them to remove it. I completely understand that both Guildford and Surrey don't want the cost of removing this, which actually I don't think they should have to pay for this. I think the people that have dumped it should be made to do that. The only mechanism to do that is for Surrey County Council to prosecute them. So hopefully that's what I think is the most sensible option next.
Okay, Daniel Hill,
Cool.
thank you very much.
No worries.